Yes, it's time for this week's blog, and John, the best news of all is your blinds are up and it's pouring with rain outside.
Yes, it is pouring with rain here. From all reports, there's a lot of rain across the state. There are still some missing out, so we hope that this continues over the next couple of days and everyone receives some.
Absolutely, forecast is good right across the state. Maybe not good for racing, but for those that need it more importantly.
Yeah, we've come through the air quality problem with the fires, but this rain will put those fires out. We desperately need rain, so we take it as the good Lord gives.
Alrighty, on to the news from the week. 28-day stable returns.
Yeah, the contentious issue. There is a rule. Trainers must report to us when their horses are in their stables. And if they don't, it's a 28-day period until they can either race or start in a trial. Well, we've amended that for trials. So 14 days, horses can trial or re-qualify or qualify, but the 28 days for starting in a race still stands. So it's meeting a little bit. It's a sensible move to make, but the importance of stable returns, especially in this climate with the Senate inquiry into the traceability of horses, and that's not only standardbreds, that's all horses, and then what flowed out of that 730 report, which was supposedly the trigger was the traceability of horses. We have to pick up our game. We must follow the rules, but that's the slight change we've had.
Alrighty, so we move from there to the minimum bet rule.
Yes, I'm back in favour with quite a few punters out there who have been persisting with Harness Racing New South Wales introducing a minimum bet rule. It commenced from February 1. $1,000 the win at metropolitan meetings, $500 the win at country meetings. Steps up, of course, for the big races through the Carnival and other higher races. So we've delivered something. It's in line. With other jurisdictions. So as I said, there were a few compliments came in on that.
We talked about it last week, the ratings review meeting. What came out of that?
I can't tell you what came out of it, but what did come out of it was, and it's the first time I've actually attended one, representing Harness Racing New South Wales. We've normally had Adam Fairley there or Sean Snudden. I attended on behalf of the board because our constituents, our stakeholders, had some three very vital points that they wanted put across. Not that Adam or Sean wasn't putting them across, it was to be there to really press the issue. I must say I'm reasonably satisfied with what came out of it. It must now go to the HRA executive meeting, and that's who has the final say. So for all points, I'll be attending the executive meeting as well. So I know what occurred in the ratings review team meeting, and I will continue to attempt to deliver for our constituents, our stakeholders.
Is it set up like the United Nations? You'll sit there with your little flags from your states in front of you and argue?
No, we all know one another, but you got it absolutely right with the robust discussion. I won't call it arguments, but robust discussions.
Importantly, bushfire appeal, where did we end up?
69,200, which was fantastic, and I thank Club Menangle for coming on board with this one. So we've got 39,200, I think, goes to Wires.
Yep. And
30,000 goes to the Red Cross, and there's a lot of chatter out there of where this money's actually going. We will, with the knowledge of that, we will make sure we direct it to the right places.
We move from that to, we've finished the bushfire appeal. Teal pants are in vogue at the moment for the lady drivers, and the objective is to raise as much as we can and raise more than Victoria.
That's always our objective, of course, with try to, just to up our gamemanship. But however, it's very good. We've got our ambassadors well and truly on board. Kerry Ann, Amanda, Ellen, Sarah, and Ash Hart. They're trainers, the first quartet, and then Ash Hart also as our driver. All lady drivers, when they win a race, we put in $200. But I must once again compliment Club Menangle. Every lady driver there, they'll throw in an extra 200. We've got a little bit of imagination with how to boost that through the ambassadors driving and training, we'll up the ante there. If the ambassadors train and they put a male driver on that wears the ambassadorial colours, we'll throw some more in there. Our aim is to better last year and hit above the $40,000 mark.
And beat those Victorians, most importantly, as well.
Yes.
Doug Hewitt is just driving phenomenally well at the moment.
Yeah, Dougie, 4 winners last week, Orange at Bathurst. He's always been a good driver. He should be a good driver. He's we talk about breeding. He's bred to be a good driver. He was an outstanding sportsman on the certainly on the rugby league field and in other games, but other sports. But yeah, he's going tremendously well, and he'll continue to go well.
Also, Dr. Reg Walsh had a very unique double with winners.
Yes, only yesterday, one at Tamworth and one at Penrith. Tamworth in the afternoon, Penrith at night, of course. 2 winners out of his mare Shalom. Now, Dr. Walsh has been in our industry for so long, just an absolute gentleman. You couldn't find a more helpful person in any respect of any part of the sport or in society in general. But of course, his horse No Win No Feed, which he bred, was the champion 3-year-old filly in Australia last year. So Dr. Walsh, good luck to him. Yeah. And he bred and owned those 2, and raced those 2.
Great Thursday for Dr. Walsh, and it was a great night at Milton. For the New South Wales, King of Swing, we're adopting him. Craig Cross trains now, and our Uncle Sam for the Frisbees. We had it on numbers going into the race, but to get to Quinella, it was fantastic. I was actually standing behind Chris Frisbee. He's always animated at the best of times. He was more than animated when when it got to a half head, a nose. That's how close he got. But good luck to the owners of King of Swing. Wonderful people. Gary Hall Senior was there. Mick Harvey was there. All the owners were there. They had a good night as well. You wouldn't have seen much of the race standing behind Frizz. He's a big man.
Yes, but they were steps.
Right.
And I was on a milk crate.
Right. Unfortunately, speaking of great men, Alan Hull's last commentating gig was interrupted by Mother Nature.
Yeah, Mother Nature. The heat caused that meeting at Albury last Friday to be abandoned. It's coincidental perhaps, but Johnny Tapp, one of the greatest callers of all time, his last race call was somewhere up the mid-north coast or somewhere. Coffs Harbour. The meeting was rained out, yep. So his last call was somewhat missed out. What we'll do with Alan, though, I'm sure we can convince him to come back and call at least a cameo during the Group 1 Carnival at Riverina Paceway Wagga in April. So Alan, he served the industry so well, not only harness racing but also the thoroughbreds, and we wish him all the best in retirement after April.
It's not going to seem the same down there without him. I know Anthony Manton's doing Albury this week and he'll do a great job down there, but Alan's the Riverina.
He's got that, that rhythm in his voice,
yep.
and a good guy, a really
Absolutely.
Good guy.
Yep. Breeders' Challenge eligible yearlings out of the Melbourne sale, they sold very well.
Extremely well. New South Wales Breeders' Challenge eligible. Jake Stockton had a massive sale. Ben Stud, who are located here, had a great sale as well. There weren't that many in the sale, New South Wales Breeders' Challenge eligible, and that's what you would expect. But they're high figures. So we move on to the Sydney sale now. We'll be doing what we can to promote it, to encourage buyers along. Harness Racing New South Wales, the board are looking at something, or will be looking at something at their next board meeting to around Breeders' Challenge, of course, but we'll see something. Club Menangle, once again, a buyer out of that sale, if they race in the Sydney finals, because it's changed a little bit, these conditions, they're throwing in $25,000 owner's bonus for fillies, $25,000 owner's bonus for colts and geldings in those finals. So we're doing what we can to encourage ownership, and we'll continue to do that.
We move from that to, what about the field for the Hondo Grattan? It's the unofficial start of the Miracle Mile Carnival, the Carnival of Miracles. That field for the Hondo Grattan's outstanding.
It is outstanding. The group of 4-year-olds is something else. Hard to pick one out of it, to tell you the truth. And then, of course, you had Lochinvar Art, New South Wales Breeders' Challenge eligible horse, of course. He won at Melton, and smashed the track record. He's already in the Chariots of Fire. So we have the Hondo Grattan this week, the Parfait Adios next week, then into the Chariots, and of course the winner gets an invitation to the Miracle Mile. We
hear so often that it's going to be the best Chariots ever, it's going to be the best race this, it's going to be the best race that ever. This chariot, certainly at Menangle, is shaping as the best Chariots ever.
Oh, certainly, across the board. Like you in times gone by, you would have got 2, 3, 4 real standouts and really competitive. Any one of 8, any one of 10, when it gets to the Chariots of Fire.
The time they could run on the right conditions is just scary.
Well, just look at Lochinvar Art. He smashed the track record at Melton. If you take what you can do, no difference between the quality of the tracks, but just the sheer size of Menangle, it's a 146.
Absolutely. And Orange Carnival of Cups, they used to race at the Highland Paceway. Then they were at Towak Park on the grass. Unfortunately, the drought has affected them. They'll have their Carnival of Cup meeting at Bathurst on Sunday.
Yes, the drought, the hardness of the track, and the thoroughbreds moved off Towak Park to Bathurst. And last week, 10 fantastic races, very competitive. As we said, we saw Dougie Hewitt get that quaddy of winners. This week, 9 races, great fields. The Banjo Patterson's a really strong field of free-for-allers, and of course we've got the Crichton Park Drivers' Invitational Race, which are always hotly contested events.
It's amazing to think that when that meeting was shifted to Bathurst, it was due to the drought. Had they still been at Orange, they could have been off due to the rain this week.
Well, they would have been off due to the rain this week. Well, we'll see what the rain does to Bathurst, but Bathurst is a very good track in all types of weather. So Tony Hagney does a great job, and of course Danny's running the ship there with Wayne Barker. Frank McRae and Jane Morris from Orange were only too willing to move over to Bathurst for this Carnival Cups meeting, so it'll be a great day.
As always, plenty of news. We'll see you next week.
Certainly will, Mark.
Good punting.